Hey, everybody. Welcome to, I reckon we're going to call this a special edition, kicking it with the KTrain. But actually, it's pretty much just straight up blind sweaters. And we're going to, I'll post it on, kicking it with the KTrain, my YouTube channel and all your favorite podcast platforms. But, more than that, it's just a straight up episode of blind sweaters, but instead of our normal crazy shenanigans, we got some serious topics to discuss.
Dude, we should
So
always have serious topics though. Like
that
let's be honest.
it's actually,
Joking
that's actually it's
joking around is a thing of the past. What are we, comedians?
something like that. I don't know. That's for some reason I always thought comedy would be in my future, and then I realized that I'm way too serious a guy, and no one well no one really likes my comedy, so it's
See,
okay.
I'm not too serious of a guy, and I often think that my calling is just being at a comedy club, either just opening the door for comedians or walking on stage and doing a little bit of an act. Because I really don't
Hey,
take life too serious. I really try not to, but and that's why basically a year ago to this day, I did a Reddit roast me and realized that people love having fun at the expense of somebody else who's willing to put themselves out there in a fun
that is
in a
that is
fun way.
that is so true. I mean, like, there's nothing like a good roast. There's nothing like a good Reddit roast. I haven't done a Reddit roast, but
Don't do it,
uh,
dude. Don't do
yeah,
it. Don't
it
do
might, it might scar me for life. I'm a sensitive soul, Jared. I'm a sensitive soul.
dude. Dude, it
Got
is
thin
to this
skin, thin
day.
skin.
I have put myself out there for 20 something years. To this day, it is the most notifications my phone has ever gotten. Is the most views of anything I have ever had, including band stuff, solo stuff, you name it. There's like
Wow,
there's like 5 million views on this thing, 3 to 5 million. I don't know which it is at this point, but
that's insane.
with, dude, within 2 weeks, it was at 3 million views and over like 20,000 comments. It was on the front page of Reddit Roast Me for months. Like, and I'm not exaggerating, but clearly there's something to roasting a blind guy who's willing to put themselves out there. And I was
Clearly,
unaware. I was unaware.
yeah, clearly,
And
clearly.
and it was fun. It was fun for a minute. It's still fun, but you know what? At the same time, like you said, you're a sensitive guy. I'm a sensitive guy too. Like, even when I'm
Yeah,
having fun, even when I'm
yeah,
like, but I was trying to, dude, like everything. I'm trying to use it as like a kickstart, like a little bit of an advantage. Like, oh, I'll put myself
yeah,
out there. And
yeah.
that's the thing. That's the thing that you and I are forced to have to do. It's like we got to use this thing that we've the gift that we've been given of being blind and
Yep,
using it to our advantage. Like, oh, check this out. We'll put ourselves out there, make jokes at our expense. Maybe
yep,
there'll be maybe we'll get some more views on a stream. Maybe we'll get some more
yep,
views on our YouTube channel. But
yep.
and it applies to so many more things than just Reddit roast me's. I mean,
Totally.
dude, and this is I will start off by saying this is not going to be a asking for sympathy kind of podcast. This is
No, 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 no.
this is not a woe is me moment at all. Like, and at the end of the day, like, because all of this comes down to the choice. I mean, sure, the blindness part does not come down to the choices we have made. That is
No.
the those are the cards we were dealt. But the choices that we have made, it is how we react to situations. It is how we interact with people. And literally, I mean, starting when I was 11, when I started losing my sight, I mean, I was no stranger to people like in the hallways at school. Like, even when I mean, literally, I was just losing my sight. I could still see. Like,
Yeah.
it's like it took like 2 years for me to go blind. And basically, like, I mean, I'm just walking through the hallways uh, and you could say out of people's awkwardness and just not knowing how to approach the situation, it's like people were just showing up in front of my face, like with their fingers, like being like, how many fingers do I have up? How many fingers do I have up? And it's like,
Yep.
and it's just crazy because I don't want to be I don't want to take the approach of saying like everybody's a bad person, or like, because it's not the case, obviously.
No.
Like most people are really, really good people. And
Yeah.
it just comes down to a lack of awareness. Like all of this really just comes down to, dude, there aren't a lot of blind people who dude, I was doing a lot of thinking this week and last week of just um okay, first of all, if it wasn't for my parents starting talking tabs, and if it
Hmm.
wasn't for me meeting you, and if it wasn't for me losing my sight, which made, you know, made us travel around the country, going to conferences for the like the NFB and other conferences for the blind. I'm 32 years old. I started losing my sight when I was 11. How
Hmm.
many random times have I met blind people? And I was
Hmm.
starting to do that thought, and it's like zero.
Yep.
Like you really think about it, and it's like it's crazy to say that. And like I was thinking about my friends who have known me, and if they hadn't known me, how many blind people have they met? Or check this out, how many times have they maybe been in a situation where they have gone up to a blind person to help them because they've known me, and
Yep.
because they've known I can actually, do something here. I know how to help them across the street. I've known Jared. Like, but
Yeah.
because but besides that, it's so rare that this really does come down to it's just a lack of knowing. It really
Yep.
is. Like all
Yep.
of these situations um where we could use so many words, like where we're just made to feel like nothing, where we're discriminated against, where we're just treated like uh treated truly different than any other human would be treated, because there's so many times where a human can be treated poorly, a human can be treated with zero respect. But
Hmm.
I think there's a level of knowing. It's like, okay, I know how I feel about this before, but when I'm approached, and this is a taboo thing, but this is truly the way it is. There are, and this is, this isn't my 2 cents. This is coming from what you would say sighted people, because I can't tell the difference of, I can see colors, I can see contrast, but I can't see any detail whatsoever.
Right.
But the thing is, and this is really an unfortunate thing, but um somebody who is born blind, somebody who um has gone through, I mean, even what you've gone through, I mean, you weren't
Hmm.
born blind, but
No.
what you have gone through is different than what I've gone through.
Sure.
And we've gone through, very different things, but when somebody sees you, they would know that you are blind.
Yes.
When people see me, they have no idea that I'm blind. And that is truly, I mean, dude, even right now, I'm wearing sunglasses to literally give somebody, hey, maybe this guy is blind. But even that backfires, because people are like, oh, he's playing guitar, he's a rock star. Like he's just an asshole with sunglasses on inside. Like, but like if somebody comes up to me when I'm out, like at an event, at a sporting event, at a concert, at whatever it is, blind is never the thing that they think. They
Right.
think, oh, tall, good looking, guy who works out. They come up to me. It's literally always a shocking thing. And I truly hate saying that, because it isn't, this shouldn't even be something that's like a thing. Like this should not be, oh, like people should be able to come up to a blind person and treat them just like they would treat their brother, their sister, their mom, their dad, like whoever it is. And or they should be able to come up to me and treat me like the same way. And then once they realize that I'm blind, it shouldn't completely change the dynamic of what was already going on in the conversation in the moment.
Right.
Like, but it does. And the thing is, it's like I really don't know what I would prefer. Like at this point, it's like sometimes, because I've always been like, oh, it's cool because like then they can find out organically. But at the same time, dude, at this point, I've gone through so much, as far like I hate even saying that, but I've gone through so many situations where I've been mistreated or made to feel literally not like nothing,
Yep.
because people come up to me. And I'd rather at this point just be left alone.
Yeah. And that sucks, man. Cause like, I mean, like, because you like you're a people person, and I'm like, and like, and I, and a lot of times I feel the same way, and that like, I just sometimes it's just easier to just kind
Right.
of sequester yourself away and be alone and not subject yourself to, those types of feelings. But uh, I think we should probably explain kind of why we both are kind of wanting to venture into this topic. So a couple of weeks ago, almost 2 weeks ago, you called me up. I think we had just recorded another podcast episode or something, and you called me up, um, and asked my advice on a situation
Yeah.
that occurred. Uh, Sorry, I have a hound dog yowling for attention in the
but
background.
but you
Uh,
ain't nothing but a hound dog, Kyle.
yeah, pretty much. Um, it wouldn't be a blind sweaters episode without something like that,
Yeah.
right? So why don't you explain to people what happened,
Yeah,
this
dude.
particular Friday or Saturday night, or whenever
So,
whenever it was.
well, I called you for advice because, first of all, I respect you. I respect the life you've lived. I respect everything that you do. You're always pushing to be a better Kyle every day. And that to me is what life is about. Is about being positive, just trying to find the light even in dark situations.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because like I was saying, we're in this position where I always feel like we're having to go above and beyond. And it's even weird to say that, but like even to show everybody that we're okay, to be happy, like to almost be the happiest person in the room so people aren't
Yeah.
like, "Oh man, that must really suck being blind." Like,
Yeah.
and it's just like, man, I was in this situation on Saturday, 2 weeks ago, where and it's interesting to finally be like, well, this was my final straw, because
Right.
there's so many, like it's like I have like 4 or 5 stories a year where I feel like it's like because I really do put myself out there. I mean, my
Hmm.
my wife and I, we like to and I've always been the kind of person who is going out doing things, and this was one of those times where I went to a sporting event. I don't know how specific I want to be yet because the
Sure.
situation is going, it's an ongoing situation currently.
Sure. For sure.
But let's just say I was at a Orlando Solar Bears hockey game.
All right, we're going that specific. Okay, cool.
I'm not quite sure how specific I want to get, but let's just say I was at an Orlando Solar Bears hockey game, which let's be completely transparent. I grew up playing ice hockey. I started when I was 4 years old.
Yep.
I started losing my eyesight when I was 11. I still played ice hockey basically until for like a year of losing my sight. I was on a travel
Hmm.
team. I would, from Orlando, Florida, my team would have to go find, better competition. We'd go to Canada for tournaments. We'd go all the East Coast. We were really good. Like it was my life. I played for two
Yeah.
hours before school. I played for 4 hours after school every single day.
Yep.
And my team was actually called the Junior Solar Bears. We even have the regional championship banner still hanging at the RDV Sportsplex that says Junior Solar Bears champions. It's
Nice.
got my name on it, and
Nice.
it's so it is and to put an emotion to it, it's one of the only things to this day that I still dream about. Maybe
Yeah.
five times a year that I'm like still in a game, playing, crushing it, scoring goals, and I like visually can see the game going on. And I swear, like I don't have dreams about that. That's how important hockey was to me
Yep.
as a kid. And
Yep.
and I had to replace hockey and I remember like literally like the day that I finished, like was like, all right, I'm gonna hang my skates up. It's over. Like I scored my last goal as a defender and didn't even see the puck go in the net. And like somebody was like, you scored. And it's just like, oh man, like I guess this was my last, because hockey's a dangerous sport. Like
Oh yeah.
it can get rough out there.
Oh yeah.
But I I retired and started playing guitar and put basically all of that same energy from hockey into guitar
Yep.
and into putting bands together into, just I had so much energy and so much want and desire to be great at something. And because like for me, it was hockey was not just passing time before and after school. It was I wanted to be the best. I wanted to be the best defender I could be. I wanted to take it as far as I could possibly take it. And that
Hmm.
was, whether that was boarding schools in high school, college hockey, like Division 1 hockey, being on the Solar Bears someday, being an NHL player, like these things were not out of the realm of possibility in my brain. Like
Right.
anything was possible. It was like sky's the limit. As long as you're a hardworking player, you're going to be able to take this as far as possible.
Right.
Um, and then I lost my sight, but at the same time, and honestly, I stopped. My best friend Ali is still stuck playing hockey, but I had no interest in ever talking hockey for as far as I was concerned, as long as I lived. I was like, okay, well, that was that's depressing. Can't do that ever again. So
Right.
I did not stick with it or like keep up with, the NHL. Like my favorite team was the Colorado Avalanche. Like I did not keep up with anything for I don't know, like 15 years or so until
Yeah.
like I was back in Orlando. And every once in a while, like I would, hear things like Ali was still like, massively into like the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yep.
And so he'd tell me about, how well they're doing. And I was just like, I don't care. I don't care. Um, and he invited Emily and David and I to go to a Solar Bears game like a year ago. And we went. He had great seats, and I'm sitting right next to him. He's like keeping me up with the game and how it's going. And I'm like, you know what? I'm having fun just being here, feeling the ice, like feeling like hearing the slams into the boards, like
Yep.
just the whole game. It was, and like I said, like it's not like it ever left me. It was the only thing that I never stopped dreaming about.
Yeah.
Um, and so, then, we had that experience together at that game and it was fun. And it was the first hockey game Emily had ever been to. So I was like, oh, cool. She really enjoyed it. And the thing is, like, Emily and I have been together for 4 years. And if there's one thing I know is saying no, like to something that somebody wants to do, like saying like, oh, I don't have fun with that, not just being like being a yes man to things, especially with the person you're in a relationship with. It's just so much better than being like, oh, going to a hockey game is depressing. I used to play. Like, it's just fun. Like being like, oh, you enjoy it? Sweet, let's go. Like, oh, you enjoy going to concerts? Sweet, let's go. Like, even though it's like, going to concerts makes me like, oh, my band didn't ever make it. I don't like these guys as much as being up on stage. Like, there's so many
Yeah.
ways you can look at situations, or you could just be like, you know what? Yeah, it's something that I used to do, and now I don't do it anymore, but I can still have fun being there.
Yep.
So started doing that. Every once in a while, she'd find these tickets that had great prices with like her teacher discount, and they'd have these really fun, nights. Whether it was, they went for getting the world record of tie dye, like who like an entire arena packed with people wearing tie dye to get in the Guinness Book of World Records. We went to that game. We went to another game, and we were really supporting like the Orlando Solar Bears, like having like a genuinely like, okay, cool. Like my sister was into it. My mom's friend came with us. Like we were. It's a good time. Like it's really
Yeah.
a great time. And so Emily's sister drove up from Tampa 2 weeks ago. We're like, yeah, we're gonna go to the Solar Bears game. Like we all have a really good time going. I talked my sister into coming, which wasn't hard because she had a great time too. She grew up as a figure skater, so
Hmm.
she loves being around those kinds of things. And David, myself, my friend Palmer was gonna come. Like we bought 6 tickets. We showed up. We had to park, pay for parking. Went into the event, went and grabbed a beer. The girls went into the bathroom, and David and I are standing at the bar, just literally waiting for the girls to come out of the bathroom so we could find so we could go to our seats. Um, and while we're waiting for our seats, a guy comes and approaches me, and he's like, and he really like just he came out of nowhere, obviously,
Yeah.
and had some excitement to his voice too. He's like, "Hey, would you be interested in going on the ice after this intermission, or at the next, like after this period for the next intermission, and being a part of a game, bear pong?" And I'm like, "Are you serious?" Like, it was like I wanted to hug the guy. It was so exciting that I mean, this guy came up to me out of, there may have been 5,000 for, I mean, I don't know how many people exactly show up at the Orlando Solar Bears. They're not a NHL team, but
Yeah.
they're fun games. So the crowd was it was pretty full. But he came up to me out of everyone, and it
Yep.
was and he obviously had no idea that I was blind. He came up to me. I'm just a cool dude in a leather jacket, just sipping on a beer, looking awesome, I'm sure.
Yeah,
And
totally.
I was like, "Oh my God, like how many people do you need?" He's like, "We need 2 people." I was like, "Can my wife and I do it?" Like, I was like, "We would have so much fun together." And I was like, I like to be able to tell her when she gets out of the bathroom that we're about to go be a part of a game on the ice. Like, I know Emily so well that we're gonna be jumping up and down for joy, like just high fiving when she comes out. And so he was like, "Oh my God, yeah, that'd be perfect." I go, I gotta let you know, like, I am blind." And I was like, "What is the game?" He's like, "Oh, it's just like, it's throwing dodgeballs basically into trash cans, like beer pong, but like real large beer." I was like, "That's perfect." Cause
Yeah, it's
I already,
fun.
I already crush in beer pong. So you give
Oh
me,
heck yeah.
you give me a
Give
larger,
me a larger target. Heck yeah,
yeah,
man.
yeah, literally. And I was like, literally, I was telling him, I was like, "Dude, this is so cool," because I was like, I used to play as a junior solar bear before I lost my sight. And we used to, like, little like peewee hockey kids used to come out here and play in between the periods. And we'd play like a little 5-minute pickup game, like my team would all the time, like at this arena. And I was like, it's so cool. Like, I mean, just to be able to, like a really heartwarming kind of conversation, like tell the crowd, like, this guy used to play here before he lost his sight, and he's still coming to the games, still supporting the Solar Bears. He was a junior Solar Bear, and he's still coming back. Now he's out here with his wife. Like, that's a, to me, that is an opportunity for such a feel good moment, bring everybody
Sure.
together. And that's where my head was at. And he's
Yeah.
just like, yeah, yeah. Like, literally, I mean, this guy was right there with me, like hearing my story, hearing the whole thing. I was like, cool. And he tells me where to come meet him. And basically, like, right as Emily got out of the bathroom, he's like, "Yeah, just come over there, and we'll set you guys up," kind of thing. Emily comes out of the bathroom. I'm like, "Babe, we have 20 minutes, and then we're going on the ice to play bear pong." And she's like, "What?" I was like, "You and I are going to be the only ones out there playing bear pong. All eyes on us, having the time of our lives, playing you versus me in bear pong."
Yep.
And she's just like, "No way." Like, and like I said, we are now we are now literally at the bar, jumping, high-fiving, doing like
You're
bro
excited.
hugs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like you're
like too excited.
excited, like way too excited, and like
Too
it's yeah,
excited.
like
And
like
so
you're
and
stoked.
she is, yeah, she's like she's an athlete. She's already in bro mode. She's like, "Oh my God, we're gonna crush it." Like, her energy was through the roof. And so now we go over to where the guy is, and she's like, "Hey," like literally, like now she's taking charge. She's like, "Yo, I'm here for bear pong."
Yeah.
and and the guy's just like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, we're having a little bit of a problem." He's like, "You said you were blind?" And I'm like, yeah, like I was like, and literally when I was telling him that, it wasn't me telling him, like giving him I wasn't giving him an out.
Right.
I was giving him the
Just a heads
feeling.
up, like, hey man, like, just like, hey, just
But
to let you know, I'm blind. Uh, and this is the situation. It's just this is the situation, but like, I'm I'm still gonna be chucking some balls. I'm still gonna be playing some bear pong.
yeah, but honestly, I was telling him for more so the feel good, bringing everybody
Yeah,
together, like the heartwarming
totally.
story of like what I was telling about I used to play here. Now I've lost my sight, still coming to the games, still
Yep.
a fan.
Yep.
And he's like, so you said you were blind? And now Emily's like, well, yeah, but like, he can see color, light, dark, like contrast, like because now we're having to sell it. Like we're already aware, we're aware, we've been through this. So we see that this is going south.
Yep.
And we're trying to have it stay north.
Yeah.
And so as Emily says, oh, he can see light, dark, contrast, color, like now there's a woman who's also working with this guy. She's like, oh, so you can drive. And because
No.
seeing color, contrast, light, dark means you should have your driver's license and be on the road.
Right.
So we're like, no, nobody said that. And then it goes from this like awkward, weird moment of like, well, that was obviously a dumb thing to say and ask, to like, are you guys willing to sign a waiver to go out
Mm-hmm.
there? And it's like, well, obviously, I think everybody would be asked to sign a waiver before participating in a game.
Before going out onto, an ice rink, to throw dodgeballs around where someone could get, I don't know, clocked in the head, or someone
Yeah,
could slip and fall. Just a waiver seems like a natural thing for anybody to
right.
have to sign.
Yeah, it
Like
does.
I have to sign a waiver for any triathlon I participate in that basically says you could die.
Wait,
Like,
wait, you're blind and you compete in triathlons?
amazing, right?
Wow. Wow. Um,
Sorry, continue. My bad.
no, no, don't be sorry, because honestly, first of all, that is amazing that you do that, based off of the fact that these guys came up to me to go out on the ice and to throw a dodgeball into a trash can, when most people sitting in the stands could not run a triathlon, could not swim, could not bike. And it is a valid point, because
Yeah, well, and most people out in in those stands also could not spin a guitar around behind their head and play one handed with their tongue instead of a pick. But
or
but
play hundreds, thousands of concerts, never jeopardizing my life, never falling off of a
yeah,
stage, never.
yeah.
I mean, rocking. Kyle, I know you've never seen me perform.
Oh no, dude,
but,
I've been on stage with you
but
performing, and I can feel the energy.
dude, when my band used to tour, I was jumping up and down like a madman for an hour, and
Yeah,
never fell, never once fell. I'm
yeah,
talking, and literally jumping, like I'm doing squat jumps, like
yeah,
for an
yeah.
hour.
Yeah.
Um,
No, dude, I've performed with you. Like, I mean,
for,
I never performed with you in that kind of environment,
no,
like where you were really in your element. But like, dude,
yeah,
you bring it, man. You bring some energy.
I
Uh,
only know how to bring energy. But
yeah.
so that I was asked if I would sign a waiver, and it seemed very obvious that everybody would be asked to sign a waiver. And I'm like, yeah, just bring me down, because at this point it's now been like 35 minutes where we're just dealing with things. Haven't been to our seats once. And so they bring us now they make the choice to bring all five of us to down where the locker rooms are, basically where you would enter the ice for our
Hmm.
game.
Hmm.
And there's probably like 10 minutes left in this period before we're about to head out there. And we're still like, we're now thinking, okay, cool, we're good. And we're down there, 10 minutes has gone by. Like, I'm like, okay, what is happening? And at this point, my sister tells me, like, this guy's basically like still just on his walkie talkie. Like, we don't know what he's saying, but it doesn't look, my sister said it didn't look positive. Like it didn't look like he was like, it didn't look like we were any closer to getting on the ice.
Right.
and at this point, I'm just like pacing, because I'm like, it it's not even about me anymore in my head. It's just like I'm now ruining my family's night over me being blind. And it's just like the amount of times it's like we're here to have fun, whether it's at a water park, and now the entire day is about me because I'm told I can't go down a water slide after my wife is already down there waiting for me, and somebody puts his hands on me being like, oh yeah, sorry, I got to talk to my supervisor. I'm like, dude, I've been riding these slides for 3 hours. I mean, the amount of times I've been in this situation, and I'm just over it. And I was literally just pacing. I'm just pacing because it's like, I'm like saying, Emily, just go out there with David. Just leave me out of it at this point. Like,
Yeah.
clearly these are not good people, or they're just lack of awareness, or just have never met a blind person, or just, I don't know. And at the same time, doing these guessing games is also dangerous because now you're just playing games in your own head, making it worse,
Yeah.
building it up in your own mind. And so I'm just pacing at this point, and at the same time, what I do in any situation where I'm uncomfortable is I am a people pleaser, like you said. So I'm now just cracking jokes down there, like for the people who picked me out of 5,000 people or whatever, handpicked me. And now I'm just cracking jokes, and they're just laughing like the 20-year-olds that they probably were. And they're just like, making like fat jokes of people in the stands. Like I'm like, you think I have a problem? Like, I'm like, do you really think I'm like, I work on stabilizing exercises. I go, I don't miss a day in the gym 5-6 days a week, like doing jumping. I'm like, I'm selling myself. And it's like, and it's just so unfortunate that you even have to do that and feel like this, because it's like, why are we standing here? Why are we still here? Like, we have not gone to our seats once. And
Mhm.
now at this point, 10 minutes, 15, 20, 45 minutes have gone by, an hour. It's like, cool. This is the entire length of the game.
Yeah.
and and it's like, I get it. You don't have any more knowledge. You don't have an answer for me. But now their supervisor comes down, and he's just like, oh, what's the problem? And I'm like, oh, hi. And I walk over, I shake his hand, and I'm like, well, the problem is I don't know why I'm still down here. And your team has been making me feel incapable for the last hour and 15 minutes. And right off the bat, versus having any sense of humility, any sense of compassion, this person goes, did anybody in my team use the word incapable? He goes, I'm pretty sure we're uncomfortable with this situation, but none of us use the word incapable. So I'm like, okay, I'm feeling his defense right off the bat. And I'm like, dude, I said you've been making me feel incapable for the last hour. I never said, oh, I've heard you've said that I'm and it's like, we're now going off track, because now we're focusing on specifics of a he says she says kind of moment. And that's
Right.
not what's going on here. What's going on is full on disability discrimination, 1000%. I'm like, and 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 man, I avoid these things at all costs. I avoid any feelings of going from 0 to 60 in my mind, anger, any feelings of boiling. And at this point, and when I said I was pacing like around my little group, I was not allowing myself to go to the place that now the supervisor, who it's like, okay, you're the guy in charge. You're the guy who should be, I mean, to I literally said, I'm like, I used to play hockey here. I still skate sometimes. I still literally, like, there are blind hockey leagues.
Yes.
I'm like, literally, I could throw skates on and skate backwards around this entire rink, guarantee better than this guy right now. Like right now. And if this guy is a hockey player, then honestly, that's a bigger problem. If you actually have awareness of how somebody can maneuver being on the ice and can balance, and at the end of the day, like, I guarantee you, they set a carpet out to walk out for anybody, not just a blind person. But
Yeah.
if somebody was competing in one of these games, I guarantee you they would have carpet out, so nobody's worried about somebody slipping on the ice. And he goes, well, we're just a bit concerned. I swear, like, this was his quote. He goes, we're just a bit concerned. Like, what if you get hit by the Zamboni? And for anybody who doesn't know, the Zamboni is what cleans the ice. Um, why would they be cleaning the ice
Yeah.
while they're having an entertaining halftime game going on
Yeah.
where people are
Newsflash.
supposed,
Yeah. Newsflash. They don't do it. It
yeah,
doesn't happen.
and there is 0.0 chance of me getting run over by a Zamboni, even if I'm on the ice and the Zamboni is coming straight at me at full speed. I'd be able to hear it coming. B, I'd be able to see the contrast of this thing coming at me on a, because I get, okay, unless this Zamboni is ice white and everything around me is also ice white, that's the only chance. And if it had like a silencer on its muzzle or its muffler, like, that's the only chance. Oh, and if the driver was like, you know what, I really hate this guy, I want to run him over and murder him in front of everybody watching this game, these are the only chances of a Zamboni hitting me. So that is an insane excuse.
Yeah.
And okay, at this point now, after incapable is being thrown back in my face, the word incapable, which I never said that they used, I said, you've made me feel incapable now for an hour, which we have not gone to our seats once, I will reiterate. And the Zamboni comment, I'm now at this point realizing I'm not going out on the ice with Emily. It's starting to look pretty clear to me that, you know what, the game is probably not happening. And at this point, I'm feeling I'm emotions that I truly try to avoid at all cost, which
Yeah.
is simple, man. The simple emotion that I try to avoid is hatred, anger, sadness, like anything like that. And I will go above and beyond. If I'm having a bad day, I'll crush myself in the gym to feel out of my head, to still be able to feel present in that day. If I'm doing like man, life is hard, life sucks, like I'm blind, like if I'm doing those kinds of games, like if there is that negative voice pulling me hard, I will do everything to do the right things that I know work for me, the recipe that pull me back to where I like to feel. And at this point, this person who approached me with zero humility, zero compassion is now bringing me to that point. And it's like, man, me 5-6 years ago, I really don't know what would have happened if this was like this final straw moment. Like I don't, all I could say was, dude, you are an idiot and I hope you can sleep well tonight. I really, really hope that you can sleep well tonight because you are an absolute idiot the way that you handle this situation. And at that point, where my group and I, like my group, like Emily's like elbowing me because like, she's like, there's police officers around. And I'm like, what do you think I'm about to do? Like, I mean, I'll tell you what I wanted to do, but no, I'm not in that position anymore. Thankfully, I'm more in control. And you know what? I have never gotten physical. I've never once with a random person ever in my life. And no matter the amount of times, it's like words aren't working right now, but you know, a knockout punch would sure feel better. All those times, they're just feelings and you just got to bury them in you. And even burying those feelings inside of you and just being, cool, I guess this isn't going to work out for me. They could have picked literally anybody else out in this arena and they would have been on the ice playing bear pong, given no matter what their situation was. And by the way, this waiver said nothing about, oh, if you're blind, you can't be out there, because that's illegal.
Right.
Like that's an illegal thing to even have at a professional sporting event, to treat a blind person different than any other person in that arena when it comes to anything that they're being asked to do. Because I was not the one who asked to be a part of this. I was asked. And so, yeah, that doesn't exist. That's illegal. But you know what? So we went back in the elevator. They're basically, and I'm still just making jokes because now we're being like escorted back up the elevator by the people who brought us down there in the first place. And I don't want to ruin their nights. Like, this isn't their fault. That's what's so unfortunate. It's like, I'm, and we go back up. The game's now in the third period. We walked into this game 5 minutes into the first period. We've now have not gone to our seats. We've missed the entire game, dealing with dealing with some really interesting people. And we're now standing there. I'm now literally crying at the arena. Emily is hugging me, consoling me, and I'm just literally boiling. It's like, and it's so unfortunate because, like I said, I try to avoid these emotions like at all costs because, but anger is the first feeling that I will feel before the real problem. And the real problem is sadness. Like,
Mhm.
anger for me is the distraction of sadness.
Mhm.
And as soon as it's like, man, the tears just started pouring because it's I was brought through the ringer. I was really brought through the ringer of something that was, it was the feeling of such a high, such an excitement, such a such a good feeling that was almost about to take place. I mean, Emily and I, we would have someday told our kids about this. We would have told, it was such an I mean, I was flying just at the thought of what we were about to do. And then going through this hour of just being dragged through the mud. The outpour of emotions was super real. I didn't want to, I didn't want to affect my loved ones, but the people I was there with, I didn't want to bring them down. So it was just kind of a moment between Emily and I where she just held me, and it was very beautiful, sweet, helpful. And I mean, but even like, I still felt exposed. I still felt like, oh, well, there's people around me, they can see me, all those things. And so she's like, well, there's 5 minutes left in the game. And I'm like, you guys want to go to our seats? It's like, no, let's leave.
Yeah.
And because, you don't want to go to your seat when there's 5 minutes left in the game for the first time.
Right.
And so I go to the bathroom. I go to my safe place, my family bathroom. Shout out to family bathrooms. Um, and that was the first time I was alone, like with my thoughts, and it was really heavy, like being alone,
Yeah.
like right after I'd been brought through that for the last hour and a half. That was when, man, I could not stop crying for like, a solid few minutes. And I was just like standing there just sobbing, and to the point where, and then and it's kind of funny, but now I'm just sobbing and I don't want to come out of the bathroom and have David and Audra and Emily's sister Ashley and Emily see me just because they were already feeling it. They were feeling the
Yeah.
emotions. They were feeling so sad for what I had just gone through, and and what they went through. It wasn't just me going through it. And I just didn't want them to see me like that. And so now I'm just feeling around the bathroom for like tissue, like for like paper towels or like
Yeah.
toilet paper. I'm like, damn it, where's the toilet paper? And so I finally just opened the door and I'm like, Emily, please come in here, help me. Like, so it just, and so if it's okay to show somebody how you're feeling, especially if they're your wife. And
For sure.
so I don't know. We
So
what?
yeah,
Sorry, I
yeah,
apologize.
no, man, no. So like, it's just to kind of summarize this situation a little bit. Like, someone approached you at a sporting event to do one of these fun little halftime, or well,
Yeah,
between period games.
right. Yeah.
You let them know, hey, I'm blind. They say, yeah, basically they say, no problem, everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
And then ask you to sign a waiver. You sign the waiver. They still don't let you go out onto the ice, and you basically tell them, hey, guys, like, look, I'm not incapable, and and at the end of the day, you don't get to, and like, and it's basically made like, so you're basically made to feel like I was not allowed to participate in this game because I cannot see, because I am blind. And if anyone, and it feels like if anyone else had been, if they had gone out and if they had picked David, David would have been down there, and if they'd picked David and any other person, like you know,
Yeah.
it,
I
it
mean,
would have,
David's a perfect example.
but yeah, it feels like it would have gone through like that, like quick.
For
Um,
sure. I-
and,
And
and, and so, and I think this is and like this happens, like this happens to you, a few times a year. I live in a pretty I live in this pretty isolated little bubble where sometimes if it feels like it doesn't happen to me, but this kind of shit happens to a lot of people, to a lot of people who are blind, to a lot of people who are visually impaired. Yeah, it happens to, it's, I think it happens to wheelchair athletes. I think or people in wheelchairs. I think it happens to people with a prosthetic leg or something like that. But it feels, I feel, we've been seeing, maybe I've been closer to it or feeling more sensitive to it recently, but like I've been seeing stories, we see this happen in airline travel a lot, people being, people traveling with guide dogs, being denied, they're being denied travel. Um, you know, I experienced a lot of this in, when I was, I and a lot of other people have, experienced, these kind of attitudes in, seeking employment.
for sure.
I like when I, when I, when I was looking for a job post college, um, I would share on my application that I was blind. And, I it seemed like I would never get an interview. And then when I took off of my application that I was blind, I would be getting interviews. But then, there were times that I would walk in with my guide dog, and I've been told very, I had one experience where someone, I walked in, and they were like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "I have a job interview." "You do?" "Sorry, the hiring manager's been called away for an emergency meeting."
Yeah, they're
So
fired
yeah,
now.
yeah. So this stuff happens, and like, and it's 2023. Like it's 2023. We have had, like, I was part of a team of very, very well accomplished business professionals that, raced our bikes across from, San Diego, California to Annapolis, Maryland, to raise awareness, to say like, hey, blind people can be uber successful, on the bike and in the boardroom. Like we had a guy who was at the time, he was the lead attorney for Google Chrome. Now he's like, he's like Facebook's legal counsel or whatever. We had an assistant U.S. attorney who was based out of Washington D.C., and we had the owner of a flavor extract company, which is like one of the biggest flavor extract companies in the world. And he eventually sold that company. And then we had me, puny little puny little Kyle, who really wasn't really wasn't that successful from a business standpoint or anything like that. I just happened to be a halfway decent athlete. So but and and we had this, and yet, and then we have people like we have people like my buddy Eric Weinmeier, who, climbs Mount Everest. We have guys like, Eric Weinmeier and Lonnie Bedwell, who kayak the entire length of the Grand Canyon. We have people like, my girlfriend, Jessica Tuamala, who, is a 4-time Paralympian in 2 different sports, and has 3 degrees from 3 different countries, from Canada, Scotland, and the US. Like, so and I started thinking about this, and I what do people view as successful for a blind person?
That's a really interesting question.
Because it's like, because if we look at it, like, so you and I, we have no problem admitting it. Like, we are 2, we grew up in good families. We grew up in good situations. Our parents fought tooth and nail for us to have every opportunity possible.
Sure.
We both, while we're not rolling in money, like, we're not throwing, we're not Floyd Mayweather Jr. throwing, fistfuls of cash everywhere. Like, we're decently, like, we're not going to starve, at least anytime soon. But at the same time, I know that I have this niggling fear deep inside of me that it is, and honestly, it's not that deep inside of me, that when it's time for me to go find, something more stable, like a more stable job, or more stable,
find your own. Yeah.
find my own stable employment,
Right.
work for a company or something like that. I have to go, like you said earlier, I have to go above and beyond. I feel like I have to have a doctorate degree to get an entry level position. Like, we have talked about it before, where it feels like we have to be exceptional to be mediocre, like in society, at best, in society's eyes.
Right.
And so I it correct, give me your views on this, but, like, to me, it boils down to, look, people are fucking terrified of blindness. Look, I mean, just straight up, they're terrified of it. Like, so I read something the other day that basically said, look, the disability group as a whole, it is the one marginalized group that anyone can join at any time. Like, anyone can join it at any time. It shows no, like, whether you're white, male, female, gay, straight, lesbian, bi, trans, queer, black, brown, purple, yellow, orange, blue, from Mars, wherever. Anyone can join the disability group at any time, and that's terrifying. And then even, like, there are degrees of disability that are just straight up terrifying. There are, like, just me being, with my left arm immobilized for, a couple of weeks, only having one arm, or, like, training and living on a daily basis with people in a wheelchair, or, people with one leg, or something like that. I mean, I see the struggles that they go through, but I don't understand it 100%. Exactly what they're going through, but it seems like when push comes to shove, it feels as though people are just so scared of blindness. They're so scared of losing their sight, and it feels like, because especially here in the US, well, actually I'm sitting in Canada right now, but yeah. But like, especially in the US, where independence is it's such a part of the American identity.
Yeah.
And look, you and I, like, we're both pretty independent. Like, we're both pretty independent. We both, do all this, do all this crazy shit, but we're really not that independent.
No.
Because we have to rely on so many people for so many different things.
Yeah.
We have to, there are financial costs, there are emotional costs, there are social costs, there are all these things. And like, I think when people come across us, or they see us, it's like, wow, like, I can't imagine being blind. I could never do what you do. And then, it's, people are amazed by all the extreme stuff that we do. They're amazed that you are so talented on stage, that you can, shred like, I mean, dude, like, you're fucking blind Eddie Van Halen is what you are, and like, and then they look at me and they're amazed that oh my God, this guy is totally blind, and, can run a 18-minute 5K off the bike. Um, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Like, they look at, they look at us and they say, wow, this is so amazing. But then but like, oh, you can do that, but you can't, like, but you can't throw a dodgeball into a trash can because you might slip on the ice.
Yeah. And honestly, nor will I ever want to again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But dude, and the thing is, to touch on what you just said, people are very afraid of going blind, and they should be.
Absolutely, they should be. And like, it's
They,
okay to admit that, guys. It's like,
right.
it's okay.
No,
Fear is a very real thing.
dude. So
No, just want to be blind. Like, news want to be blind.
my brother Sal and I, we do a UFC podcast called A Fighting Chance,
Yeah.
and we've had some amazingly great UFC fighters on the show with us. And this one guy, Renato Moicano, who he fought at Madison Square Garden last year, got an amazing submission. He's the main event of a fight coming up in like a month. Dude, we were doing a podcast like 2 months ago with him, and he's like the coolest guy. And it was awesome because we were talking to him, like, trying to, get his story. And halfway through, he just starts asking me questions.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and he goes, man, I ask you these because they're constantly dealing with eye pokes.
Yeah.
In fights, that's like the biggest thing, is getting their eyes poked, and people have gone blind with that. People have lost their eyes with that. It's very serious. And he goes, I'm so afraid he goes, I just don't know how you do it. He goes, he goes, I wanted to come on this show basically to see how it is. Like, and it was funny because, like, it was like the roles were like kind of reversed, and he was just
Right.
asking me questions for like 20 minutes and talking about what it's like to be blind, because he's like, it is such a fear of his.
Yeah.
And rightfully so, because it's hard. And like, you named, when you were talking about blind people and success and everything, and you were naming all these people doing amazing things, man, these last 2 weeks have had me thinking about, just all the kids, man, all the kids who are blind and don't know how to navigate this world, because, maybe they're not in the same situation as us, having parents, going tooth and nail to try to give us the best opportunities, because they can't. And because life is, it's swamping everybody
Yeah.
with work and finances, and inflation's crazy. Everything is just so crazy, and giving their kids attention, and the right opportunities. And I'm thinking about so many people who don't have a voice and don't have the ability to do these extreme things, and would never be in a situation where they even have, because they're just too anxious to even
Yeah.
put themselves out there, and too afraid to ever step on the ice. But the thing is, anybody could have done what I was doing. I don't care if you've never walked on ice. I don't care. Like, the situation, man, I was picked. It's like, cool, you picked me. Now we're going to make it work. And it's like, I don't care if the supervisor had to go out there let's say they picked another blind person who who couldn't skate backwards, who can't still play a hockey game like I can. You picked them. Cool. Make it work. Make it
Yeah.
work. And
Yep.
that's on you at that point. I don't care if you're having to be the one to have the kid who you just made their night walk out there on the ice with their hand on your freaking shoulder. I don't care. Make it work.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how I feel at this point. And because it's played so many mind tricks with me the last 2 weeks, where I'm now having to do this thing. It's just like, because my head, when I was originally thinking about it, it's like, oh, this is this beautiful moment for everybody in the arena to see, like, hey, the show doesn't stop. Like, he's still
Yeah.
trying to do everything to be happy and to be,
Yeah.
but now it's like, man, I've gone back and forth. Like, I'm doing like 180s in my head. It's like, man, maybe for 5,000 people, they feel like, wow, this is so beautiful. But what if there's like 3 people in the arena that's like, oh no, he's blind. This is really sad. And it's
Yeah.
like, that sucks that you even have to think like that. Like,
Yeah.
but because it really does change everything when you start to think. It's like, because all I could think about was the positive. Like, this is good for everybody in the arena seeing this go down. But what if they're seeing Emily scoring, dodgeball after dodgeball in the trash can, and I'm missing all of them, but I'm still laughing. I'm still having a
Yeah.
good time. But what if for one guy and one family member in the arena, they're just like, oh, this isn't fun. This is sad. And then I
Yeah.
started thinking, it's like, you know what? The guy made the right call, because it's not worth it for the one person who's sad. And that's a ridiculous thing
But
to have to
yeah,
start thinking.
and here's the thing. That's ridiculous to think that, because, like, just as we all get frustrated and angry with, we cater to the
Right.
one
Right. Exactly.
instead of, like, that's, and that's just, that's frustrating. And like, we go to the worst case scenario, and it's just like, just like you said. um Shit, it's just slipping my mind again, sorry. You know you have this opportunity, this opportunity to have a beautiful moment. And all it is like, you just gotta make it work, knuckle down.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, it, it, it what I think that we want more than anything is a fighting chance.
Literally.
That's
That's all we want.
that's what we want. Like, we want a puncher's chance. Like, we want a fighting chance. Like it doesn't matter how good or bad any UFC fighter is. When they step into the ring, they know there's a chance.
Right. Dude.
Sometimes or when we're navigating the world of blindness, when we're not in our own little bubbles of the people that we've built
Right.
around, of the teams that we've built around us. Like, when I'm at the training center, I know I'm safe, man. Like I mean, I like, everybody knows me there. Like, I get around just fine. I'm ridiculously independent. Yeah, like, the dining hall staff helps me get my food, because no one wants a blind guy sticking his fingers into,
They don't.
every dish to find out what it is.
Well, it sucks to suck whoever eats the meals that I cook every single night for my people.
Yeah, well, you well, I mean, I do plenty of cooking when I'm not at the training center, but like when I'm at the
Yeah.
training center, they're feeding hundreds of people. So, but but like when we step outside of our bubbles, it feels like no matter how hard we fight, we don't have a chance. We don't have a chance to get ahead, or like if we do have a chance, we have to go so above and beyond. We have to, the odds are not in our favor. From a gambling perspective, we can never spend, we can never just gamble, $1 and make 100. We have to gamble $100 million to make
make a
one.
dollar.
Like that.
Dude,
That's sometimes what it feels like.
I love your gambling reference because I was at my dad's memorial. We were scattering his ashes in the Bahamas where there's a casino. And my friends and I were in literally the entire blackjack table is filled with my friends and I. It's nobody else beside, no random people besides the dealer. And I accidentally touched the chips after they were down, just literally trying. No, so this is what happened. They were coming to give the next hand of cards, and I was putting more chips out there because I thought I lost the hand that I had just had out there, and he hadn't yet pulled my chips back from the bet before.
Right.
And he goes, "Oh, whoa, 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 whoa!" Like just like, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I couldn't see them. I'm blind." And literally, the entire table is filled with my friends who are there for my dad's memorial service,
Right.
and he goes, "You blind?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Then why are you playing?"
Wow.
And I go, "Excuse me?" Like literally just trying to get. He goes, "You're blind. Then why are you playing?" And I was just like, "Where is your pit boss? Where is the manager?" Because it was so like, I was like, "Did he just say?" And and I said, "You're saying I can't play because I'm blind?" He goes, "Oh no, of course you can play. Everyone can." And now he's backpedaling.
Yep.
And I'm just like, and dude, he ran, basically ran like away from this whole
Yeah.
situation. Like, and I talked to his pit boss, like everybody, and it's like, you're gonna tell me, like, I'm literally here for an hour and a half already sitting at your table, and it's like, I touched your chips, told you I couldn't play, or like, I told you I'm so sorry, like I didn't mean to touch your chips, like I'm blind, like gave you the awareness, like, and it's just like, oh, you're blind, then why are you playing? And it's like, that's that's the most idiotic thing to ever say.
You want to know what's really funny about that?
What?
So Steve, yep. Have you ever heard of a guy named Steve Wynn?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Dude, yeah. Yeah, of the Wynn Hotel. He's like, he's literally legally blind.
Legally blind, worth billions of dollars.
Yeah. But you know what? He can but Kyle, I don't know if you knew this.
Yep.
He can't play blackjack because he
Can't
might
play.
touch his chips.
Well,
He might touch his chips.
yeah. Well, and that, and the question your dealer asked is a question that we all get.
Right.
Like it's not necessarily the game of blackjack. Why are you playing the game of blackjack? It's almost like you're being asked, why are you playing the game of life?
For sure.
Like, why are you living? Like,
right.
because it is so inconceivable and terrifying to
Yeah.
people being blind. And so, and we've spent, this entire time, it seems like we've spent this entire time, bitching and moaning and complaining that like, oh, well, what was us? And we're not trying to do that.
Not at all.
what we are like, so what you and I are like, neither of us, like, we're not legal experts. You know, we have we have talked with people in the past, and everyone's go-to is just sue the solar bears. It's like, does that fix it? Like, I've come with, I've been, I've been presented and facing issues, and there's some stuff going on in the world of triathlon that's really affecting, I think we've talked about it on the
Yeah.
podcast before. That's affecting totally blind athletes and people, and everyone's just like, just come at crap with the legal,
Right.
with legal documentation in hand, saying this, all that, and it's like, at the end of the day, shit, that shit doesn't fix it.
Everything. No, and
It doesn't fix everything. And so like what you and I are kind of, we're in this position where we're like, we don't know what to do. Like, we don't know what to do. And so what we've kind of decided, at least like this, from my perspective, kind of what we are doing is like, look, we have like, for the small audience, for the small audiences that we do have, like, we both admit we don't have these massive
we're not Joe
audiences
Rogan yet.
we're not Joe Rogan yet, but like, maybe our voices and our stories and our musings can reach the ears of some people, and if we can make, just like you said at the beginning of the show, how many blind people have been helped because David, Emily, Ali,
Right.
Palmer, Baylor, Brian, Max, Trevor, all of these people that have met you and know you because you're blind. How many blind people have been helped because of that? And like, all of your connections have now a wider worldview and can, step out and help where they can. Everyone that I have been in touch with and contact with, like, so like, what we can do is use the power of our storytelling abilities, our voices, our stories, and share our experiences, and try to learn in the process as well, because like, we're still learning, we're still like I may have been, I've been blind for, together we have, almost 50 years of blindness between us.
Look
Like,
at us go.
look at us, we got 50 years of experience. But we're not fucking this shit out. Like, we don't know what we're doing. We're just kind of making it up as we go along. Like, let's be real.
Right.
But yeah, so that's my 2 cents.
I like your 2 cents. Dude, I mean, literally, while I'm backstage in this waiting to go out on the ice, I'm literally thinking in my head, like, do I need to stand on one leg? Do I need to start doing like split squat jumps? Do I need to start like busting out 100 push-ups? What do I need to do? Like, what circus act do I need to literally put myself through to show them, oh, this blind guy is actually normal? Like, and it's just insane that you have to do that in your head. And
Yeah.
I know we just talked about like legal suing, like all these things, like, cause that's the American go-to. That's what everybody like thinks like first. But man, I'll tell you, here's a quote that I heard this week. And I thought it was really powerful. You can't help everyone, but everyone can help someone. Yeah. And I thought that was an awesome quote. And after I got off the phone with you, the Sunday after it happened, which was the day after, man, I was, besides doing my music streams, which I do for a few hours a day, it is all I could think about it was like a movie was playing in my head, of that hour and a half that we were at the game, for days, for 3-4 days. And it was just, I mean, I couldn't be present, with Emily at all. They were like, we'd be, getting ready for bed. Like, I was just a wreck of emotion, just angry, just furious, just this whole thing was just playing on repeat in my head for days. And if I was talking to anybody, it was basically the only thing that I would bring up was telling them, like, any friend who I felt close enough to confide in and tell them the story. Like, I was telling basically anybody. And the only time I was out of my head and present was when I was playing guitar.
Yeah.
But it led to, because I didn't know what to do. Like, I didn't want to, um like I said, I really wanted to give this person the benefit of the doubt. Like you were saying, like, maybe my reach has had other people who I've been close with forever help other blind people and whatnot. And I was just like, you know what, give this guy the benefit of the doubt. Like,
Yeah.
maybe this guy has never met a blind person. Maybe he was truly coming out from a place of like, oh, this seems too risky. Like, this guy might get hurt. Maybe he really wasn't as horrible of a person as he seemed in the 10 minutes we were standing in front of him.
Right.
So I actually did find him. I reached out to him in the way that I know. I'm not a man, I'm not a technology guy. I'm not very savvy with it. I've always been very comfortable on Facebook. Facebook's a easy platform for blind people. And it always, and maybe they all are easy, but maybe it's the easy one for me because it's what I was used to at
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
And so I found the guy on Facebook, and I reached out to him. I wrote him a message, and it was really, I was like, it was very much a positive message. I was like, I would love to turn, and this was like 4 or 5 days removed at this point. I was like, I would really like to give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe you've never met a blind person. And I was like, at the end of the day, like, I'd like to turn a horrible outcome into a positive. And I wrote him, I sent it. He said, of course, it was like his response was basically like, if you could contact my work email. And I'm like, well, and it was like, once again, here's a hard thing. I don't email. I do Facebook. Like, it's like that is my email, buddy. And so found a way to do that, copy basically the same email that I had already sent in the Facebook message to his work email, where he CC'd me with the president of the Solar Bears, um, which was a nice step.
Sure.
And basically, it was a few, and it was like after I'd been thinking, and okay, so then the next day after I send this email, because man, my physical, my mental, like, all of these things, and I can't say mine, everyone's is so connected. And my mind was thinking about this basically 20 hours of the day. Like, I'm sure I was actually even dreaming about it. Like, I had a
Mhm.
few nightmares about it. And I wake up the next day and I'm about to go to the gym. Um, Catherine, who from yoga, who you got
Yep.
to see at my wedding, who's
Oh,
just
yeah. Awesome. Awesome human being.
one of the greatest people to walk this planet of all time.
Oh, yeah.
And she was coming back to the gym. She had been out for a few months, and I was so excited. Just we have such a great team at the gym every morning at 8. And I wake up literally with the whole left side of my body just unable to work. Like, I'm having shooting pain from my, like, the left side of my shoulder blade through my neck, through my chest, my arm, like, isn't like, my whole left side of my body is just shut down at this point. And it's like nothing. I mean, I was thinking back to, like, what did this besides emotions? It's like, okay, cool. Monday, you had an insane, I was doing like 20 reps of 4 sets of like 135 bench, leaning with like uh push-ups, like on a physio ball right after. So it was all this strenuous stuff, but like at the same time, I was pushing myself harder, trying to escape the anger.
Yeah.
Like, I was like I was getting every rep of every set. Like, literally, even if I was holding the bar in the air for like 40 seconds and like kicking out with my legs, like, just trying to shake it out to get, I was truly fighting through something through this
Yeah.
workout. And it's like, cool. Was it the workout? Was it the emotions? Was it the combination? They're all connected. What does it even
Sure.
matter?
Yeah.
And I wake up that day and I'm just like, and it was like after I was doing this, like, okay, cool, we're gonna put this behind us, we're gonna be positive. And now I'm like, man, I'm in physical, like, my dad died of a heart attack, and now I'm feeling strain like in my chest. And that it can cause panic attacks and anxiety for
Yeah.
me, like, whenever I feel this in my chest. And it's like, man, I'm literally, and it brought me right back to the emotional side, and not trying to, and always trying to be the better person, always trying to be above the pain and the trauma and all this of what I was going through. But at the same time, it's just like, I don't have the emotional and mental capacity to even deal with this right now, because now I'm dealing with the physical of what this has done to me.
Yeah.
And I got CC'd, like I said, with the president of the Solar Bears. They sent me an email response being like, yes, we would love to get together and discuss. Give us a day next week and we'll go to lunch. And now it's like, I don't want to go to lunch. Like, I want to have a talk. I want to, and it was so, man, the emotional journey of like the tug of war of what I was going through, of like, okay, you want to help somebody, you want to fix, like, you want to be able to make this better for the next person. But at the same time, like I said, they did not go up to a blind person and ask them to do this. They went up to somebody who was in an arena who they didn't think had any physical, disabilities or anything going on. They would not have ever gone up to a blind person in their mind. So
Yeah.
it's like, who am I helping? Because at the end of the day, I'm not on this planet to change people. I'm on this planet to make myself happy, make my loved ones happy, influence and affect a good person to feeling a little better that day. Maybe, I mean, this world is hard. There's a lot of mental health problems going on, and I'm here to literally be uh, a soundboard, a voice, somebody who listens, somebody who understands, somebody who's been through a lot for them. I really am not, and I've known this about myself for a long time, but never as clearly as I do right now. I'm not the kind of person who wants to change that guy.
Yeah.
That's not who I am.
Right.
Honestly, that's never been who I am. And the second that they sent me this email being like, yeah, we would love to discuss and hear you out. Give us a day next week to go have lunch. Now it's like, okay, I was a liability when I was in your arena. Now you're expecting what my wife, who's a teacher who works every single day I mean, she can't skip a day of school to go sit and have lunch with you. So, and I'm now expected to, I mean, I don't have a cane. I don't have a seeing eye dog. I'm not bringing my mother to go have lunch with you.
Yeah.
So now it's like, what? So now I trust the people who have probably never been around a blind person based off of how they treated one, to what? I'm going to put my hand on your shoulder and we're going to walk to the lunch table where I'm now anxious and it's loud in a restaurant, and I'm dealing with waiters and waitresses and now eating in front of the people. So now it's like a whole nother world of problems that are opening up in my, and it shouldn't even been the case. Like, it's like, no, I give you my number. Call me if you want to talk. Come on like, I'm sitting right now in front of a $3,000 camera. You want to have a Zoom call with me? Let's do it then. Like, let's do it on a level playing field. That's fair. That's right. Like, you want to, dude, I knew it was going to happen. Like, it's like, president of I mean, you do a Google search, he's an attorney. You're gonna come and lawyer me, like, in a situation where it's like, okay, cool, he actually sat down at lunch with us. I don't know, I mean, now I'm in a physical frenzy. Like, I literally can't feel the whole left side of my body, which is damaging. I mean, so now it's like all the tug of war of how I want to be, how I want to proceed with this whole situation. It's not clear to me. It's
Yeah.
not as clear as
Yeah.
okay, cool. Oh, thank you so much for my hamburger and French fries. You really made up for this situation. And now I can so I basically I said I really appreciate um you reaching out and your offer to take me out to lunch, but it doesn't, this is not how this works. A It's like, I'd feel more comfortable going to an office, and that doesn't even make me feel comfortable, because like now I'm sitting in a room that isn't as familiar. Like you said, you're familiar in your training center. You're familiar of these places where you feel comfortable and you feel like people around you get you. Like, I don't want to go back into a traumatic situation where there's going to be a bunch of, I mean, who knows? Who knows what is going to happen at lunch? Who knows? Like, but I didn't know, and it was so fresh that I literally was just like, this is not how this is going to work for me. This has been an emotional roller coaster this past week that I'm not willing to, it's too fresh to go sit with you and have lunch. But I basically spelt out the entire situation again. I was like, we were 6 people. We came to the arena. We bought drinks. We paid for our parking. We paid for our seats, and we didn't see a moment of the game. And I was like, just please make that right. And I was like, and honestly, I'm good to just move. I need to move on from this. I need to
Yeah.
just move on. Like, I don't want to contact lawyers. I don't want to sue you. I don't want to contact your sponsors. I don't want to have an article in the newspaper. All I want to do is talk to my buddy Kyle, maybe bring some awareness to the disability community, to people who maybe somebody hears this and they say, you know what, I'm guilty of the same thing, and I don't ever want to do that again to somebody else. Just a little bit of that, and that's where my head was at, because I need to move on from this, because I need to be present around the good people who love me, and the people who I love. I need to be better for. I can't be consumed with this. I can't wake up with
Yeah.
stomach pain and feelings of, oh my God, like this day is gonna be another drag because of what happened to me 2 weeks ago. Like
Right.
I'm willing to. I want to just put this past me, and
Yeah.
so I emailed that last Friday, and yeah, man, I have not heard a word. And I'll tell you, I don't think I will. I don't think I will
Yeah.
hear a word. I don't think I will get tickets to another game just to make up for that one. Cause it's like, what do you want? I want that night that we didn't even get to experience. Cause I would go to another game. I will never be, if somebody ever comes up to me, and this is what sucks. It's like, I should be a part of the game that was happening on the ice. But if somebody ever asks me again, it's like, no, I don't want to be brought through the ringer or potential situation.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with bad seeds. I don't want to deal with somebody who, like I said, I want to be in this on this planet to affect positive change for people who are good people. And I may not be able to see, but I can feel energy and emotion unlike anybody I've ever known. And this was not a good human. This was a bad person. And I don't
Yeah.
care if he had a bad day. I don't care if he had a bad week, but to just be, the thing is, we live in a world where it's like everything is so uh it's like, okay, we're gonna do this the business way, and it's like you're gonna CC me with the president, and then I'm gonna write out the whole situation specifically to you guys, tell you I'm basically uncomfortable thus far to meet and go have lunch on your terms, basically, because it's like, okay, cool, you obviously don't get what it's like to be blind. I'm not gonna be able to, like, for me to go have lunch is it's bringing my whole tribe together to help me to go have lunch. What it's not fair. It's truly not fair. I know life isn't fair, but I yeah, I haven't heard anything. I know that I don't feel like I will hear anything. And if I do, you know what? Good for them, and I do appreciate it, because
Yeah.
some kindness would really be, it would feel good. But I don't expect it. I don't expect really anything anymore. I really don't. I expect to be able to move on. Um, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry for anybody who's ever felt what I'm feeling and
Yeah.
what I felt for 20 years, and what I've tried to, uh, just make, everybody's insecurities and, make them more comfortable to be around me. Cause it's like,
Yeah.
that's what sucks, man. It's like, there's so many times where I'm around somebody who I've never met before, and their go-to is just to make blind jokes.
Yeah.
And all I do is let them do it. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
truth, is like, all I've ever done is just let them get away with it, make the jokes right back with them. And it's just like, if there's one thing this has done for me, it's made me stronger. It's made me more aware of what we as a community, as a blind community, as other disabilities go through as well, what other people who just feel different, feel like of a minority have gone through. As one of my amazing friends, brothers, Abdias, said, he goes, "Oh, cool, you were treated normal." And I appreciate him saying that, because, like, the truth is, it's like, yeah, I mean, there's people all day, every single day, being treated by somebody in an authority position, being treated like the dirt under their shoe that they walk on.
Yeah.
And it's like, cool. Are you doing this for yourself to feel a sense of power? Like, what are you doing this for at this point?
Yeah.
And so I just feel so sorry for anybody who has felt what I'm feeling. And if I haven't been there for somebody in my life who's felt that way, and if I haven't been as understanding, just know how much I love you and how much I understand that this life is not fair. And this life is, you know, it's better for us in some ways, it's worse for us in other ways, but just having a sense of kindness and compassion and an open ears, an open mind to a moment, to a situation, especially when you're in a sense of an authority position where you really can make a difference, and you can have somebody walking away with a smile on their face versus tears in their eyes. It's that simple. And just next time, you know, if you're ever in this situation, wake up to these words, wake up to trying to just be better than you were yesterday. And I mean, you asked what the feeling of success is for a blind person. And my answer, after talking to you, after the life I've lived, my answer to you is feeling happy. That is
Yeah.
all you can do. You probably, you know, maybe you're going to get a lucky break. Maybe you are going to be the most, you know, you're going to be blind Eddie Van Halen, or you're going to be
Yeah.
Kyle running an 18-minute 5K right after being on the bike. I mean, maybe that is going to be what you work towards when you're going above and beyond in your own life. But at the end of the day, the only thing you can do is be happy.
Yeah.
And that is the ultimate win, because and find laughter, find joy, find things that you feel, you know, you're as capable as is anybody who's quote unquote normal.
Yep.
But being okay, having a smile on your face, being a tether of uh of inspiration, and because, you know, even that word bothers me at this point, because it's like
Oh yeah. I hear you.
all you should be able to do is be, you know, somebody who can get out of bed, make your bed every single day, and say, you know what, today's going to be a good day, tomorrow's going to be a great day. And it's like, if you're able to do that as a blind person, a sighted person, as anybody in 2023, I think you're crushing it. And I'm very proud of anybody who's doing that. So honestly, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, Kyle, for talking to me, doing this. But I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to just do my subliminal, just trying to make a difference in this world. But I'm not living this life to get anybody fired. I'm not, you know, because putting food on the table, even if you are a horrible human, is still an important thing. Because, you know, maybe you got a family, maybe, you know, did their kids sign up to have a horrible dad? No, they didn't. So I'm good. I'm good. I'm letting this go. I'm trying to have every single day be better than it was the day before. I woke up this morning feeling a pit in my stomach, just honestly at the thought of talking about it. Cause it's like,
Yeah.
it just felt so, it's like going to a therapy session. Especially like after something bad happens, it's like,
Yeah.
you just, you want to be able to navigate your words in a way
Yeah.
that, I mean, it's weird because you want to
Oh,
navigate them for yourself, but at the same time, you want to navigate them for, you don't want to make everybody else around you feel sorry for you. And that's the truth, is
yeah.
like, I'm not asking for sympathy. I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me at all. I just want everybody to think a little bit.
Yep. Yeah. No, I think yeah, it's funny you say that, because you know it's to to me that yeah, kind of it's weird. We do these blind sweater episodes, and they do kind of wind up turning into just public therapy sessions, and it's, man, dude, it's I'm not gonna lie, it's scary for me, putting my opinions and my thoughts and feelings and all that out there for public consumption. Because but then again, we are public figures, and this is how we this is how we make a living essentially, through our words, and our art and our craft. But yeah, nah, I think you're right in saying that, look, at the end of the day, our success is what we define it as, and it's hard. Life's hard. And life isn't fair. We had the blackjack reference earlier. It's like, sometimes you get dealt a 2 and a 3, and you don't get the ace and the 10. So you and I, we got dealt a 2 and a we got dealt a 2 and a 3. But
I double down every time.
Yeah, but we're playing the hand we're playing the hand we're dealt. And and just one more thought on the inspiration thing that you mentioned and you touched on. To me, because I talk about, because one of the way I actually make money, like my actual business, is through speaking. And I hesitate to say motivational or inspirational speaking, but at the end of the day, that's kind of the space I'm in, is inspirational and motivational speaking. And usually when I talk, and in a lot of my talks, I define what those things are: inspiration and motivation. And this could be an entire Blind Sweaters episode in and of itself. But at the end of the day, when I choose to define inspiration, and I'm choosing to redefine inspiration of what the actual textbook definition of it is, which is a process of being mentally stimulated. And basically the way a process of being mentally stimulated to do or feel something. And so I interpret that as something that makes you think, something that makes you, and hopefully something that makes you think a little differently. And so I hope, and I hate using that word, because for so long, to me, hope is not a strategy. But through this discussion, through our previous Blind Sweaters episodes, through Kicking It with the KTrain, through A Fighting Chance, through all of our podcasts that we have, all of the podcast interviews that we do on other people's shows, and all this stuff, I hope that we do inspire, using the Kyle Coon definition. I hope that people come away thinking a little differently, and maybe it only affects one person, maybe it affects 5, 10, 20, or 20 million. I hope that our discussions, past, present, and future, that we choose to put out there for public consumption, I hope they can affect some type of thought process change. And we may be long dead before we see that change, but we can only do what we know how to do. And I'm wired a little different than you. I probably would have gone to lunch with the people. I would have at least I would have been at least like, well, at least I'm getting a free meal. But yeah, or I would have, so I would have done something where I would have turned it on its head, and I'm like, actually, why don't you come to my home office? And I would have, sat there with my, and cuddled my guitar in my lap as I talked to them, or something like that,
For sure. Yeah, no, I didn't.
It's just,
And the thing is, I didn't close the door on any of this, like on
Yeah.
any of these. I just said, like, last week it was too fresh. Like, the thing is, it was too,
for sure.
I wasn't in the right place. And what I mean by that is, if this, when this whole situation went down backstage, it had already gone on for an hour and a half. If I was the one talking to the supervisor right from the get-go, he wouldn't have. And I don't like that the next day, the next week, all I'm thinking about is I wish he saw the best version of myself, because an hour and a half after being dragged through the situation and everybody around me being through it, and truly how emotionally embarrassed I was, it was the Jared's boiling like I was truly just hot. I was
Yeah,
angry.
totally.
And it's like I really wanted, but the thing is, just approach these things without an ego. If you
Yeah.
don't, if you leave your ego at the door and check it, like, and you say, you know what? Well, I don't, let's go see what's going on down here. And it's such a different thing. Just check your ego, please. Like, that's all
Yeah.
I'm asking. And man, I don't disagree with you. Like, cause right now, knowing that it's like, cool, I just have an email sitting there with two very high up people, and they haven't responded, and they're just like basically trying to let this thing just die out. It's like, cool, like now I'm being put in this position, like, man, should I have just forced myself to push myself to go to lunch, or should I have taken the approach of what you just said, come to my home office, have them like, but at the same time, I don't know if
Yeah.
changing,
No, for
I don't
sure.
know if I don't know if changing these people is what I'm here to do. I know
Right.
I don't. That's kind of what
Right.
my, yeah.
Yeah, and that's and that at the end of the day is like, when we have these discussions and stuff, it's to let people know out there, look, we don't have answers. Like, we don't have all the answers, and like we're trying to figure this shit out too.
Right.
And that's, and I think that's that's tough for us to admit. Um, that's tough for us. That's tough for that can be tough for people to admit, I should say.
Dude,
Like,
it's no, it's very tough, because I was thinking about myself. It's like, okay, cool. If I'm out at lunch with these guys, like, now I'm thinking about, what am I gonna say? And
yeah,
everything that was coming to my mind is like, why are you having to sell how amazing you are to these people? Like,
yeah,
oh, you like, oh, guess what I've done? Listen to what I do every day. Like, and you
right,
wouldn't let me go on your ice. And it's like,
right,
even that, it was just causing me such frustration and anger. And I was just like, why am I having to sell us like the truth? But like, hey, by the way, did you know that I like, and it was just bothering me so much.
yeah, yeah. Oh, no, but yeah, at the end of the day, man, I think, like you said, we're putting we're putting this story out there. We're putting our stories out there. Um, our public therapy session. Um,
Hey man, they're important. It's good to have
they
people to
are.
talk to. It's good. It's
Totally,
very good.
totally. But yeah, guys, everyone out there, look, if our conversation has sparked, questions in your own minds, made you think a little differently, you know, uh, start a little discussion in the we're gonna be posting this on both of our YouTube channels. I'm gonna be putting this out on my podcast platform. You know, drop us some notes. Drop us, hit me before you hit Jared. Just kidding. No, just drop some comments on this YouTube video. Shoot us a note. Let's keep the discussion rolling.
Yeah,
I'm
positive or negative. Like, you could be
positive or
somebody.
negative. Like, yeah, like if you think we are being whiny crybabies, fucking tell us. Like
If you
hit like
agree
we
with
are.
this guy's decision, tell us. Like, if you
Yeah,
agree with
tell us.
any of it, yeah, seriously,
Yeah,
I'm
like
good with
we
it. I
we
need to
want
hear it.
we want all feedback. We want comments. We want, and I think the biggest thing that we want to have come out of this is we want open, honest discussion. We want, like, I think at the end of the day, we're all tired of political correctness bullshit. dancing around topics, and that's why I called it, and that's why I kind of labeled this taboo topics. It's like,
Yeah.
let's just a discussion.
Yeah.
Like, like if we all at the end of the day shake hands, agree to disagree, like that's okay. So,
It is okay. It is.
but
It's
anyway,
definitely okay. Dude, thank
but
you. This
anyway,
has
my
been
brother,
great. Yeah, man.
this has been awesome. It's been important. It's been important to me. Thanks for, dude. Seriously, you really put yourself out there today. Thanks for coming on and
Appreciate it.
sharing your story, man. Like you're you know you're putting yourself out there. It's hard. It's
Well,
hard, and thanks.
you are very welcome, and thank you for having me. And it's just one story, and I know everybody has one. And the thing is, like, just like Kyle said, hit us up. But if anybody wants to hit me up on my Facebook, my Twitch channel, my YouTube channel, and I'm like I said, the quote, you can't help everyone, but everyone can help someone. That's my dad and I, when we put out our documentary Blindsided, all he ever said was, if this helps one person, it's worth it. And I'm
Yep.
going to stick to that same line. If this podcast that Kyle and I just did helps one person, it was absolutely worth it. So thank you to
100%.
anybody who listened to it. And I'm sorry if you've ever gone through anything similar, because it's definitely not fun.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. No, hit Jared up on Facebook. He's also on Instagram at Jared Hara 1, at the Blind People Watcher. Hit me up on Instagram at Iron Kyle, EYERONKYLE. You can hit me up on Facebook at Kyle Coon Speaks. I'm also on LinkedIn for those that are interested. You can find me, Kyle Coon, PLY.
The man's everywhere, just not on the ice.
I have skated before, but
That's dangerous,
been
dude. Don't stay off the ice.
stay off the ice. Stay off
You
the
might
ice.
get run over by a Zamboni.
Bullshit. I drive a fucking Zamboni. All right, guys. All right, everyone. Drop us comments in the on YouTube. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, all the platforms. You can find us. I'm Kyle Coon, and it's been my great discussion with my buddy Jared Hara. This has been a combo, blind sweaters and kicking it with the KTrain. Thank y'all so much.
Keep your eye on your vision.
Always, bro.
Later.
Later.